Welcome to In the Rough. It is officially 2019, and we have made it through the first month of the year. We are officially in February, and y'all all know February is also Black History Month. So what does it mean to be black? What does it mean to manage your blackness? We're going to talk about those things on the episode tonight, as well as talking about other issues that involve black people. We have two black candidates in next year's presidential election. We have a black actor who might have lied on an attack. Additionally, designers and even Virginia governors are portraying black people. What does all this mean for Black History Month? Today we're going to talk about it. Welcome to In the Rough.
Yo, what up everybody? Welcome to the second edition of In the Rough. I am Chase Bryant.
Your boy Wolf came back at it again.
Hey, it's me, Omari Smith. How's it going, y'all?
So a little interesting story about episode 2 of In the Rough. So we lost the first edition of episode 2.
Correction, we filmed it.
And
the file got corrupted. So, we back here doing episode 2 again. Same topics, we added one small one because it's been prevalent in the news, but we here again, like I said, doing episode 2, so just bear with us. Hope y'all enjoy the topics that we talk about, and I hope that y'all get something out of this. But before we get into the topics, how were my fellas' weekends? How's your week been so far?
My week has really been trash, bro. My week has been trash, bro. I've been preparing for everything. We got an event coming up in my organization that we got going on.
Oh, tell them.
Okay, so NAACP here on Tennessee Tech's campus is going to be hosting our second annual Freedom Image Award banquet this upcoming Tuesday, the 26th of February at 7 p.m. inside the Oakley STEM Center's lobby. It would be a night where we take the opportunity to thank and award minority individuals who are faculty, students, and staff who have gone above and beyond both on and off campus and the things that they've done over the past year. So we just want to take some time out to acknowledge those individuals, eat some good food, dress up, and have a good little time. So that's what we'll be having next Tuesday, 7 o'clock.
Word. Appreciate it. Omari.
What up?
Tell the choir, how was your weekend been?
I was out of town this weekend. I was in Mississippi.
Yucks.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was okay. My grandma, she turned. Did he misspell Mississippi? How'd you miss? Anyway.
He did. No. He said it right. He said MS. He said MISS, and I was like, no, that's not how you spell it. It's MI. Cricket letter I. Cricket letter I. Humpback I. For all the Mississippi.
I hate it.
I mean, look, I don't need nobody from Mississippi hopping on our head. You didn't spell it right. No, I don't need that. That Mississippi hatred is something.
On another note, that would be live if someone from Mississippi checked out the podcast and got offended because of what I said. I'd be like, hey, got some folks from Mississippi watching the podcast. We lit. Keep going.
All true. But my grandma, she turned 80.
Lit.
So we went down there and family threw a surprise birthday party. She was happy. She didn't know. She was asking all the questions. People do. They want to know everything. He's like, where are we going? What we finna eat? He's like, we're just going somewhere. We can't tell you.
I ignore old people at that point.
Oh, you just ignore them?
Yes.
Oh, we can't ignore her. But when I got back though, rest for a second. Then we went. Wolf went down to Nashville, my home city. Just throwing that out there. But down in Nashville for the Day on the Hill of the NAACP. It was, I believe, their 89th, is that right?
18th.
18th. How'd I get 89?
Yeah,
I can't count, y'all.
It's not a real date, folks.
I can't read either.
I was like,
somebody tells you they'll see you on February the 89th, they're lying to you. You should not be friends with that person anymore.
oh, like, what?
It's not a real date, folks. You should get that checked out.
But it was straight. It was a good weekend.
Oh, no, yeah.
Learned a lot. Met a lot of good people. Networked, even protested a bust of what was his name? Richard Forrest?
Nathan Bedford Forrest.
Thank you. I can't think today.
We're trying, people. Progress is a slow process, but it's
been a
progress
long
nonetheless.
weekend.
We're trying, people. I promise you we are. Go ahead.
But no, protested that. The thing that I got from the weekend, though, were two things. One is just the importance of love in the family and community, and how like there's a lack of that. We see, nowadays, we kind of like we talked about last week. Everyone's thinking about themselves. So I really saw that this weekend just with the family, and then even outside of it. But with the Down the Hill, the thing that I saw there was service through love, and just the importance of that, and just the importance of rising up and serving. So, good weekend.
That's what's up. That's
Good weekend. Long weekend. I'm still haven't slept, but it's okay.
Should probably do something about that.
No, it's not gonna happen. I'm a student.
All right. That's you. As for me, like Omar said, I was in Nashville, Tennessee yesterday for the NAACP 18th annual Legislative Day on the Hill. For those that don't know what a Day of a Hill is, you basically travel to the state capital within your state, and you pretty much go there and you make known what issues are important to you, how you feel about them, and you also have an opportunity to meet with your specific representative to communicate those issues and problems with him directly. Like Omar said, it was really a great time. For those that know me, they know that I love politics and history, so that's kind of what I do. I would say we're entering a period of time now in society where a lot of the old stuff that's been happening in the past is just ain't gonna fly anymore. Period. And we're gonna get into that later on in the show, but the Nathan Bedford Forrest bust. For those of y'all that don't know who Nathan Bedford Forrest is, he was actually a Confederate warrior in the Civil War. He was actually a general. During the Civil War, he actually committed atrocities. For those of y'all that don't know what the Fort Pillow Massacre is, I encourage everyone who's watching to go look it up.
Well, see, this is why I let him say this part.
Yeah, exactly. Stop. So, Fort Pillow Massacre, Nathan Bedford Forrest pretty much massacred black and white soldiers after they had surrendered. Another thing about him is that he was a slave trader in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm looking at the Memphian in the room.
We don't claim him at all.
And the third thing is that this man was actually like the first Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. Now, there are reports speculating that he denounced the organization and tried to clean up his act afterward, but honestly, in my personal opinion, I don't really care about that. Bro, you done too much already, cuz, and honestly, in my opinion, I'm gonna say this because this is my podcast. His bus should not be in our Tennessee State Capitol building. That's just me.
No, and that's actually what bothered me about that the most.
Yeah,
is that he was there and being edified for it.
Yeah, and they even put a rope around this man like he was special.
Protect him. What?
Ain't special about this dude. Take this man home somewhere.
Memphis has a lot of controversies about not only him, but what he represents, because if you don't remember, maybe a few years ago, Memphis had an opportunity to remove a lot of the Confederate statues that were in Memphis, and there was a big debate on them. Me personally, I don't think it should be in the state capital, but I don't think that necessarily we should take these images away, because that means that we are essentially erasing a part of America's history to educate ourselves as to who these people are.
Oh no, in my personal opinion, I feel like it should be moved from the state capitol to a museum.
Oh,
a museum is a place for history.
Yeah. So
it's just, in my personal opinion, having it on the state capitol, like, this is state capitol, this is where we go to pass bills, do the civic work of the government. Me personally, I don't think a person like him who fought to destroy that said government should be allowed to rest inside of a place of governance.
Oh yeah.
See, the thing that gets me with that too is that, like, think think about it this way. Anytime you have a bust or statue or some kind of monument placed in somewhere such as the state capitol, it's edifying it. It's saying, hey, for whatever reason, these individuals were important enough to us.
Are important to Tennessee history. And I'm sorry, there are a lot more people who are a lot more important in Tennessee history than Nathan Bedford Forrest. I'm just keeping it a bin there. But
here's my thing though with that though, like anything related to the Confederacy needs to be either put in a museum or like burned or put in like destroyed. And here's why I say that, because and this especially gets to me, especially when I see people who fly the Confederate flag and the American flag, or they're side by side with each other. I think that is the dumbest thing ever, because if you go back and look at the history, you know, people are saying that no, it's not hate, it's heritage. Well, then if you have that flag next to the American flag, then you're contradicting yourself, because if you go back to the history of what that flag represents, it's also a representation of not wanting to be a part of the U.S. because the Confederacy seceded from the U.S.
Not the other way around.
You know what I'm saying? So they decided they didn't want to be a part of what America was changing into and representing. So that's why the Confederacy even started in the first place. So when you have people who say that they love this country, that they say they are proud to be an American, but they fly that flag, you're contradicting yourself, in my opinion, because you're trying to go toward a movement that the U.S. was against. You're trying to go towards something that, in a sense, was anti-American. So when I see people saying that they feel that they're American by flying that flag, I'm like, dude, I'm more American than you off rip, because by you flying that flag, you're going against the very essence of what America stands for. You're anti-American when I see that flag, and when I see you, regardless what's on it, if it's hate, not heritage, because first off, it is hate. Because just because you fly it and you're not hating on me, that doesn't mean that that's not what that represents. Just like whether or not I'm from Germany and I got a swastika on because I'm German and that was a part of my German history, I can't go around Jewish people and tell them, nah, bro, this is heritage, not hate. They're gonna look at me like I'm retarded. So the same thing applies here, people. Get rid of them Confederate flags, get rid of them statues, put them in museums to educate people, to know that this is what these people were representing, this is what they wanted, this is why they're sitting in this museum today. But they don't need to be in any state government, facilities and nothing like that, because when you have people who represented the Confederacy in your government buildings, you're contradicting yourself, because these people believe that where we are today is an abomination and it shouldn't exist. So by having them in your facilities, in the government facilities, you're contradicting yourself, and you're contradicting what America represents, in my opinion.
No, that's a fair opinion. We could really talk about this for a good minute. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, no, that was a whole. That was like a whole segment within its own. I would also additionally add that I think Andrew Johnson and Andrew Jackson should be taken out of there. But like I said, that's a different discussion for another day. There's a reason why, but we got stuff to talk about. So, fellas, it is February 20th. We are officially in Black History Month. Well, the end of Black History Month.
Towards the end, but
but it is still Black History
still
Month.
flying high.
Yeah,
yes.
For real. It's still melanin magic over here.
I want y'all to know, side note, don't just take pride in being black in the month of February. Take pride in it every single day of your life, no matter where you are, who you are, because being black in America and doing things, like regular day things, like that's history. Because if you look at where we started when we first got to America, we've come a long way from that. So it's a little hard too sometimes with things that are going on, but I feel like it's important that we try to remember that we're not just pigeonholed 28 days out the year. We are creating, we are innovating, we are changing 24/7, 365, and for some of us twice on Sunday. So never forget that. Just wanted to add that in there.
I feel like we as a people, we're the most versatile people ever.
Yeah.
You see black people in sports, you see black people in entertainment, you see black people in music. Like, whatever area in life, there's going to be a black person there.
Yeah.
Like, we're
We
so
even got
versatile.
black hockey players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not many of them, but they exist.
But they're there.
They exist. So.
NASCAR, we're coming for you if we're not already there.
Man,
I'm sure someone's already there.
NASCAR
might already have one.
I think they might already have one.
They might. Either way, they gonna lose their little footing sooner or later. So
Y'all can keep badminton though. Y'all can keep that, cricket, and
Okay, hold on. I kind of badminton. I like badminton.
You like badminton?
Well, we're coming for badminton too. So watch out.
It's badminton. I feel like badminton's kind of fun.
I mean, I'm not saying that badminton is fun. I'm just saying that those are things that we stereotypically do not partake in. But if that's what we want to partake in, then all of you badminton players over there in the UK, y'all better watch out because we coming.
You coming?
Shoot, all I know is I come from a line of rich history, kings, queens, etc.
Facts.
So
That's the part of Black history that they don't teach us.
It's true.
And I feel like if they taught us that part, I feel like we would all have a different mindset of what being black is, and we would have a better understanding of where we come from. Now, I feel that it's not necessarily one of those things where we have to put the blame on the white man. Yes, the blame is on the white man. Let's not get that twisted, because the white man controls what's being taught in school. So there's that. But at the same time, I feel that it's up to us ourselves to look up our own history, to know where we come from ourselves, instead of waiting on somebody to come and tell it to us. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because the information is there. And I think that's one thing that separates us from white people. They are actively doing research, and we may think it's strange because...
It's not just white people, though.
No, I'm saying, well, if you're comparing blacks and whites.
Between the two?
Yes.
I understand.
So they're doing a lot of research, and they're gaining a lot of information on topics that we may not even deem important, because we're focused on what we got going on day to day. We're trying to go through what we got going through. So we're missing a lot of our own information. They're not doing that, which is why they are always constantly informed on the next big thing of what's going on and what's happening. So they're already over it. Granted, once we get to the party, we give it that stamp of approval, but they're always the first to get to it. Well, I'm not going to say they're usually the first to get to it. So I feel like it's up to us to educate ourselves if they won't, because in order for us to really get ahead and to understand exactly what it means to be black and where we come from, in order to know where we need to go, a lot of that falls on us, in my opinion.
No, I mean, look at other different cultures. They pour in culture and history into their own culture. So, like, you know, if I were to go to, say, someone from China and ask them about their history and their lineage, they'd probably be able to tell me at least a good deal of it, enough so it's like, oh, I came from this. It's like,
yeah, they can tell you about one of them dynasties over there.
Oh yeah. It blew my mind one day. My mom's side of the family, we found out one day that she's Haitian. We didn't know that, but you know, with those Ancestry.com, she found one of those like free trial things. So, all right, we gonna try it real quick. And we found that on her side of the family, it traces back to one of the leaders in the French-Haitian Revolution. And I was like, okay, who was that? His name was like Le Toussaint Overture, I think is his name. I probably butchered the pronunciation of it.
Yeah, I was supposed
to say, I don't speak French.
I don't know what you said at all.
No, but
that ain't it.
Anyway,
remember, this is your family.
Yeah, I know. It was spelled like Le Toussaint Overture. Something. That's the spelling of it. The pronunciation is completely different, probably. But either way, he led a revolution. And when I found that out, I was like, really? Not my bloodline. No, that can't be. Really?
No, that's your bloodline.
Shoot. All right, we'll take it.
You got a sense of pride, didn't you?
I sure did.
So, all the topics we talk about today will be centered around the fact that it is Black History Month. So, I think it's time we got into the first topic.
Which being?
For those of y'all don't know, we are almost at the end of the first term of Donald Trump. So, in the year 2020, there will be another presidential election.
It's okay, Chase.
And in 2020, there will be another presidential election. And as y'all know, we're in the year 2019. So, politicians now are already throwing their hats in to bid to see who will be in the White House starting in 2020. So, for those of y'all, I'm going to list a couple of the candidates. So we have Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Bernie Sanders just threw his hat into the ring yesterday. So, whoo, that wasn't a support for Bernie. I was just saying, you know.
No, I'm gonna be biased now. That was my support for Bernie. I don't care.
I mean, I like Bernie, but you know,
it was a breath of fresh air.
Out of the candidates that we have so far, Bernie is my savior out of the left. I don't care what y'all say about that right now.
You know, maybe we might see Joe Biden put his hat into the ring. Maybe we might see Michelle Obama, even though she said that really ain't her cup of tea.
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
It's not.
But you know, People like to have hope. So let's get into it, fellas. 2020 presidential election. What are y'all's thoughts, opinions on the candidates? Let's get to it. What we talking about? What we talking about?
I know when Bernie came back and I heard that he was announcing his bid in the presidency again, that was a breath of fresh air for me.
How so?
So with Bernie, at least from like my recollection of him and whenever I've heard him speak, or even just like new conferences or new talks that he's had, he doesn't speak like a politician. He really just kind of hits it where it is. It's like, oh no, it's shoot, I can't remember who they were talking about, but it was a talk show I listened to today, and they threw out, like, oh well, so and so can do this because they have money. And what are thoughts? That's like, oh, my thoughts, he's simply just a rich billionaire. I'm not gonna give you like the sugarcoat, oh, he's doing this with his money or whatever. No, he's a rich billionaire, and it ends there. So that's why I like Bernie. He doesn't sugarcoat, nor does he. What's what we're looking for? He doesn't speak like a politician. He kind of, it's more down to earth, more relatable.
I feel that.
Now the other person to keep my eye out for is Kamala.
What?
Well, I'm looking for something different. If she gets elected, I know she'll be the first black female president, first woman president. But that by itself will be a milestone. Now, as for what she's planning on doing, I don't know yet. I know her track record is kind of dicey at the moment. And that's in regards to her policies on incarceration.
Okay.
So, but like I said, I'm keeping an eye out for her. I'm going to wait until the first primary debates and see where she's actually at. Now, they did harp on her for her Breakfast Club stuff, though, when she kind of admitted that she kind of did smoke. And I noticed that news channels, CBN, different news sources, they are harping on that. It's like, oh, well, she smoked drugs. No, she did drugs in college. She smoked this, but she's talking about something she did in college. And this is just something that's not really to say about the election, but something to point out. Look at what our president says. Why is he not getting the same outlash?
But no. He is, but at the same time, you have to think about it, bro. It goes back to the simple thing of this is why I have a problem with politics, because we tend to do this with a lot of individuals. We search for things back in the day that may or may not seem right morally, right? Because as we've seen in the last election, a lot of people voted based on morals, not necessarily on what would be best for the nation. You know what I'm saying? So people didn't vote necessarily logically. They voted with their heart. So when that happens and you see that, you go, oh, okay, people don't really care about issues no more like that. They care about, you know what I'm saying, who the person is that they're voting for, not necessarily what their issues are, what they plan to do. Like, they care about the person themselves. Okay. So the best way to knock somebody down is to attack their character, which is why we see the type of tactics that we've seen, like even back in 2008 when Donald Trump was asking for Obama's birth certificate because he was saying he's really not American or whatever. And then it goes back to the whole Trump thing about, about him and his personal beliefs and how people felt about that. And that's why he's elected. And the reason that I think that he's not chastised, I guess, for his opinions, I feel like, or the way you believe it to be chastised versus her is because, one, he's already the president, so he controls most of the media and the messages that are being put out.
True.
So we're not going to really hear about that. And if we do hear about it, which we obviously do, people, we all hear about the things that, so we hear those things, but at the same time, it's not going to affect him as much because, one, he's, like I said, he's already the president. He didn't win. So, and clearly nobody's about to impeach him.
I mean, this is going on towards his third year.
You know what I'm saying? So we in the third year now. You know what I'm saying? We got one more. That's I think that's where people's mindsets are starting to be, especially now that we're starting to look at presidential campaigns coming, presidential candidates coming into the fold. So I feel that the eyes aren't necessarily on him the same. Granted, we gotta still watch him because he's still doing some wild stuff.
Yeah. So I see what you're saying when it comes to like someone like Kamala.
who's has the potential to be our next president, all eyes are gonna be on her for sure.
It's gonna hit her differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what it is. Yeah. But as far as the presidential candidates as a whole, y'all know how I feel about politics. But for those of you at home who don't understand how I feel about politics,
tell me how you feel, Chase.
And it's really weird because one of my good friends is a political psych major, you know. But as far as the world of politics and politicians themselves, I feel that for me it's a bit of a circus, you know. I feel like politicians are in a race to sell people the most hope, because those who sell the most hope will gain the most votes. Those who can sell you hope that I can be the change that you're looking for. I am the answer to your prayers, to your bank accounts, to your home situation, to your schooling situations. I am the answer to that.
That really sounds like a Hunger Games answer.
You know what I'm saying?
It really sounds like the Hunger Games a little bit, because the thing that they, President Snow in there, he told us, like, hey, you control the hope, you control the people.
For real. No, that's really it, because people, like I said, people will vote based on, you know, logistics and logical reasons of why they should, you know, vote for you. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they also look at how you make them feel, which is why Trump is in office now. It's not necessarily about your issues as much as how you make me feel. If I feel that you're going to create the type of changes that I need, or I feel that you're the type of person that can get things done, regardless of what those things are, because clearly if you look at the majority of people who voted for Trump versus his agenda, that don't correlate. That don't go together. Trump is always for the top 1% money-making elitists, but the majority of people who voted for him are dirt poor. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at that.
Some interesting opinions. Okay.
I need to see the primaries though.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I feel that. When it comes to politics, I feel like people nowadays have this mindset that every politician needs to be perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
And that just can't be the case. Every politician is going to disagree with you on some issue. Like you're not going to 100% agree on it. Y'all are going to disagree along the way. And I feel like we live in a time now where people can't handle other people's different opinions.
No, I can't.
You hear a different opinion and then people like spaz. Oh no, you're wrong. You hate such and such and such. Like, you know, it's stuff like that. Now, as far as the presidential candidates, I just want to say, in terms of Bernie Sanders, I don't want to hear nobody say that he is too old to run when majority of the past presidents we have had in office so far have been 65 years plus old. That's a terrible excuse why not to vote for Bernie, because he's too old. Have y'all seen the presidents that have been in office? This man, Donald Trump, probably the same age as Bernie Sanders, and y'all talking about Bernie is too old to run.
See, with Bernie,
Trump's too old to run for re-election by that same token. As for Kamala Harris, she was Attorney General in California. While she was Attorney General, there are reports. Now, I like to do my own research, so when I'm kind of speaking on the presidential candidates, I want everyone to kind of keep in mind that I'm going off based on what I've seen people say and what I have done my own research on. Now, my own research is not 100% complete because, like Omar said, we haven't even had the primaries yet, the primary debates yet. See, I think a lot of y'all need to calm down for real, because y'all already stating who you are and who you're not going to vote for, and we haven't even had debates yet. And y'all already speaking along the lines of like who you're not going to vote for. And if we speak along that lines, we're going to mess around and get 4 more years of Donald Trump.
Which we don't know. I'd rather have someone who's old
wants that
and knows they're doing than someone like Trump who's old and just wows out.
I'll tell you like this. I'd rather have the next president die on the bed in the hospital trying to sign a bill than have Donald Trump healthy as a horse back in the office, I'd take that any day. I'd take the president on life support over Donald Trump again any day. That's too much. That's entirely too much. My heart can't take it. I can't take no more. I'm done.
But additionally, I understand people's reservations about her because from my own research and what people have said about Kamala Harris is that she was a firm believer in the 3-strike rule, and she was notorious for locking a lot of black people up under those laws. Now, if that is the case, then I agree that is something we have to keep an eye out for because I think we all know at this table that mass incarceration led to a lot of downhills for black people. Took the black fathers out the neighborhood.
The black community just ain't been the same.
Yeah, the black community just haven't been the same since it.
We haven't been as united. We haven't been as strong. We haven't been as.
Took the male figure out the household, and look what happened.
And everything just went downhill after that. So I understand if people has reservations about her because she was locking black people up. But what I will also say is that, okay, if that is not her policy position now, does that change the fact of what she did back then?
No,
you can't change the past, but that's really why I'm interested in the primaries with her because if she changes it or she's going a different direction, that could be a good thing.
It could be a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing because you see the way how I view politicians. Politicians, in my opinion, are always going to be worried about one thing, and that's re-election. What can I do to make sure I stay in this position? And it has led a lot of politicians to kind of play the field. Oh, what you want? You gonna vote for me? Okay, I got you. What? You want something out of me? You gonna vote for me? I got you. And I feel like that's how a lot of politicians are. They listen to their constituents who have the most money and the most influence. And oftentimes, a lot of those people ain't people like you and me, or me and Chase. It's a whole bunch of white people who probably got the most money and the most influence. And additionally, most of our politicians are white dudes, so they relate to them better.
Yeah.
So, me going on that whole tangent was me basically saying, Camilla could easily go up there during debates and say, hey, I'm not going to put black people in jail. And then we turn around and she mess around and win the 2020 presidential election and she start putting black people in jail again. So that is something we do have to look out for in terms of her. Like when it comes to debates, are you just going to be lying? Or are you going to tell the truth?
Well, here's the thing with that, though. Like, when it comes to politicians, what I do, I could care less what a politician says because, like what you said, Wolf, when it comes to politicians, it's about re-election and campaign funding. So they're going to say whatever they need to do or do what they need to do to get those two things. To get their campaign money so they can fund it. And once they get in, they're going to sit there and they're going to pander to whoever they got to pander to. So that's why I say it becomes an issue with that because if you look at, like you said, the population, we're misrepresented and we're underappreciated. So when it comes to stuff like that, I'm waiting on the debate just to hear what she gonna say because based off of her actions alone, whether they are previous or present, no matter to me, it's what you did. Because if Bill Clinton was able to run for presidency today, I'm gonna look at him and be like, yeah, bro, but what about that whole 3-strike thing you pulled back in '96? Like, what was up with that? Like, I didn't forget about that. There are millions of American homes. And we
still suffering from
the
3-strike thing. So it's really just like, bro, what you gotta say,
suffering about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what you did. And you kind of let that kind of be swept under the rug after the whole thing with you and your secretary came about. So that's what I'm saying. Because there are American homes to this day still affected by your actions all the way from '96. So with that, what's to stop you from picking up where you left off? Because the last year or two of his presidency really wasn't about what he did politically. It was about what he did socially. You know, and it wasn't until that we just kind of, all right, we moved on from you. George Bush, what's up? That was kind of where we left him because there weren't really that many things that were happening during that time other than the Monica Lewinsky stuff that they had us talking about Bill Clinton. So I look at your actions, what you have done, and what you plan to do. I'm gonna believe what you plan to do. So if you say that that's what you're gonna do, then hey, that's cool. But if I see the way you move is not in correlation with what you say, then I'm gonna choose what you do over anything that you say, because your actions will always speak louder than your words. I don't care who you are, what job you're going for, where you've been. Like, your actions will always speak louder than your words to me. So if you say that you're not gonna put black people in jail again, but that's what you've been doing since you've had the power, I'm gonna go based off what you've been doing. So Kamala Harris don't get a vote, in my opinion, as of now.
As of now.
As of now.
Because I was about to say, I think it's important that we stay for right now. It's cool that we having these conversations, but we have to be careful not to write any of these candidates off here, because they might come around and say something different other than what they did, and they might actually follow what they saying now.
True.
So we just have to be careful not to write them off. And best believe, she gonna have to. You want that black vote? You gonna have to answer
You will have to answer to that. No,
you gonna have to
answer to us.
And
because just because you're black, you're not getting that vote. I'm gonna say that right now, and that goes for Cory Booker too. Because those of us who were chastised for voting for Obama because he was black, that's not the case anymore. We make jokes about it in the community. Oh, we got the first one in, now we can take the second one serious. Yeah, there are a lot of aspects about that election that were true, that a lot of black people voted for the first time simply because it was a black man running. So now that we have that established when it comes to Kamala Harris and Cory Booker, y'all ain't just gonna get the black vote just because y'all black. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Because a lot of people, especially a lot of young people, have been waiting for Bernie Sanders for this moment. So a lot of us are already looking as Bernie, like I stated earlier, like I'm looking for Bernie to come on in and clean this thing up. That's my view of it right now. It could change after the preliminaries, and that's cool. But as of right now, I'm looking at Bernie Sanders as the man. So Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, just because you were black and you share some of the trials and tribulations that I have faced here in this country, I need you to recognize that, but also don't make it seem like that's what's going to get you these votes, because there are a lot of things that a lot of people are liberal and conservative about. So you're going to have to make you a list of all of the wants and needs of the American people and what you're trying to do in office, and you need to figure out what needs to go on the list and what doesn't in order to get our vote, because black people have still been suffering.
Yeah, I know.
Y'all in political positions and y'all got money, you know what I'm saying, y'all got exposure, but y'all should still be woke enough to realize that y'all are the exception to the rule in a lot of ways. So see that, recognize that. I wouldn't say pander to that alone, but recognize that you need more than just black skin to get my vote.
Yeah, no, for the viewers, y'all need to realize what he's saying, because realize that just because they are black, if they get in office, yeah, that's going to be a milestone, regardless, especially if it's a black woman. That's going to be a milestone. But it's like you said, if we're going just based off that particular milestone, what about the merit of what they've done?
Yeah, you're going to miss the whole thing.
You're missing the whole thing at that point.
Just because she's a, now, I'm not saying that she is, but like, based off appearance, if you're gonna vote based off of appearance, then you can put Kamala Harris or Cory Booker in the White House, and then, not to say that they will, but they could turn out to be a whole nother Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan, all of these horrible people, all of these horrible presidents, in my opinion, that have ruled this nation in the past. So I feel like it's up to us as voters to be conscious of that and to see whether or not what they're playing off of. Are they playing off the fact that we are both black? Or are they playing off the fact that they see my pain and my suffering and they want to help put an end to that? That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Especially out of these black candidates. Yes, I'm putting you in a different category because you're black. Get over it. The rest of the world does. So I'm looking for y'all to really change some things for black people in this country. If y'all are going to really do this. Like, you know, Obama was a great president and all, but in my opinion, I don't think he did a lot for black people. He did a lot for the LGBTQ community. He did a lot for the auto industry. And yes, that does affect black people, but I don't think that he did a whole lot, or as much as I feel like he should have for black people, as far as legislation and trying to reverse some of the negative aspects that go on in our lives here in America. He did a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting here saying he didn't do jack, because that's just a lie. But I feel like he didn't do as much as a lot of us had hoped. So
he could have done more.
Oh yeah, I feel like he could have done a lot more, especially if you compare what he did for the LGBTQ community and what he did for black people. For what he did for them, was huge. He changed the way that they can now live their lives, their day-to-day lives. Can we say the same thing for black people, other than he showed little black boys and girls that they can too be president? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, as far as like the biggest thing. So I feel like it's important for the black candidates to realize that as well. So when you step into this thing, man, like really step in it, and don't try to be fake with it.
All right.
Yeah.
I think another reason why people our age like gravitates more towards Bernie like so much is because like nowadays when you hear politicians talking about issues that affect America, a lot of the issues are issues that don't apply to us.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an example. I'll say immigration. I'll say immigration or what's another one? The military. That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
Now, oftentimes when you see like the State of the Union stuff like that, and presidents will come up and do like the State of the Union stuff like that. They'll talk about the military. They'll talk about all this other stuff. But then you look at Bernie, and he's talking more so about. Okay, hold on. I actually scratch all that. This is how we gonna put it. A lot of politicians nowadays, when they talk about issues, they refer to issues that are foreign, like not going on in America. Oh, this is what America's doing. America got an issue with Russia. America got an issue with Venezuela or something like that. But then when I see Bernie Sanders, he starts talking about domestic issues. Why is college expensive? Why are people homeless? Why are we at the bottom of the list in terms of education? That's the stuff that he starts talking about, and people around our age, we relate to that because
we're in school.
Like we're in school.
We're trying to figure it out.
We dealing with this. We dealing with it right now. We're the ones in college. We're the ones that see our student bank accounts when that junk be coming back like $18,000, and we be wondering how we finna pay that. And then you see a person like Bernie, and he come around and he's like, I think college should be free. What you mean? What you mean young people ain't gonna gravitate towards what that man's saying?
It's real.
It's real.
All right, we need to move on to our next topic, though.
Cory Booker concerns me, though. And that's going off of all this blackface stuff that's been going on these past couple weeks.
I'm gonna be honest, Cory Booker trash, in my opinion.
I'm leaning to that direction if you want me to be honest.
He's trash. We're not gonna debate that fact. But speaking of blackface, if you all, the viewers at home, have been thinking about what's been going on as far as Gucci, in one of their new collections, they have a sweater, which, first off, this is the ugliest sweater I have ever seen, period. Even without the red lips and all of that, no, this is still a dumb sweater. Who wears a sweater
for $80,000?
All the way up to here?
For $80,000?
That's not even a turtleneck, fam. Who is wearing a sweater all the way up to here? Nobody should be wearing this. If you're wearing this, it's on site. You're going to get this heat. Like, you look stupid. I don't care who you are, how much money you make. I don't care how many Gucci G's they put on. You look dumb. With a turtleneck sweater on all the way up to your nose. You can barely breathe out of it. You look dumb. That's the first thing. 2, who approved this?
I don't know who approved it. That's the
this?
thing. That's the problem with it.
In 2019, who looked at this sweater and saw dollar signs? Who?
Y'all can see my co-host is very angry.
Who saw this? Who? Which one of y'all out of everybody that is working on staff at Gucci,
who approved it?
Who looked at this and was like, bro, this is lit. We need to sell this.
Say that they don't have anybody to warn them, or that no one else in the country is doing anything actively to prevent blackface. Look in the Netherlands. I said Netherlands. The Netherlands.
Sit down, please, folks. It's the home of Peter Pan, sir.
Go ahead, bro. Neverland.
The Netherlands. But look at their Christmas holiday, right? They have been protesting blackface every year because of, oddly, Christmas. And that's because back when their slave trading era ended, when the idea of Santa Claus was introduced, there was alongside him a little slave boy, and they called him Black Pete. And it became a tradition that whenever Christmas comes around, and the child is being naughty, they don't see Santa. They see Black Pete.
Not that Black Pete is the Krampus.
No, Black Pete is the Krampus.
Wow.
But see, here's the crazy part too, is that they dress up as Black Pete, either as in an autumn or something to keep Black Pete away. It's like, oh, we got to make Black Pete happy so he doesn't come visit us. So these people will literally be dressing up, I mean like full on, not just blackface, but black. The lips, eyes, everything. And people began protesting this. But this has been going on for years now.
Killed. Okay.
But yet Gucci releases
Slavery was
this.
going on for years, and we had to put it into that thing too. So that's
Yeah,
killed.
we did.
Gucci has no look. I'm tired. Gucci has no excuse. I'm tired, bro. I'm tired of people ignoring this and saying that things like this, like just happen out of nowhere, and oh, I didn't realize. Like, nah, bro. This has been going on for too long. H&M, Prada, all of the Tommy Hilfiger and his controversy. It's been happening too often in the fashion industry.
Side note, that thing about Tommy Hilfiger.
No, that's why I said controversy. That's why I said the
I just want to put that out there.
Controversy,
The Tommy Hilfiger thing was a lie.
But it was a whole
really
controversy about designers and about black people and how we fit into that. Like, so you can't tell me this is a thing that's been happening long before I was even born. So you can't sit here and tell me with the H&M things and the Prada that this is now something that you just, oh, it happened by accident. No, because there are black people that work at Gucci.
Yep.
There are black people who sit in these offices, so I want to know who are the people who weren't brave enough who saw this BS on the screen when they were sitting there doing the presentation and was like, oh no, this can sell.
If you want to be real technical about it, the minstrel shows weren't just in America. They traveled to Europe too. So if you got something like that coming to your country, continent, all the above, how do you not know about it? And see, that's my problem with Corey, is that he's advocating, oh, we should listen to the other side and give them more sympathy for not knowing.
Nah.
It's like, okay.
That's not a thing.
It is.
In 2019, that's not a thing. It's not a thing. You don't, unless that you are a drooling, babbling child,
Not the child.
or that you have some type of mental
Not the child.
illness, there's no way that you can't know. There's zero way that you can't know from things that are going on politically, socially, economically. There's absolutely zero way that you can't know unless you're ignoring the problem, which means you know what's happening. You're just choosing not to bring it into existence or to acknowledge it. Or you're sitting there and you're advocating for it to continue because you like how it is. So to me, there's no more of that, oh, I didn't know that this would be an issue. Like, come on now. And Floyd Mayweather, sir, I don't care how many millions you got. You were trash for putting that sweater on. You look stupid. You look ridiculous. I don't care that you can count to 40 million. Sir, I think that you are a disappointment to the black community, and I will say this why. Because nah, bust that. I got a platform now. I'm gonna say it. Floyd Mayweather, you were a disappointment to the black community.
I have a platform.
I don't care how many.
platform.
I don't care how many. No, this is real. I don't care how many boxers, how many black boxers you put on and you didn't fed, bro. You disappoint the black community today because you put that sweater on and you posted it publicly. And like it was nothing wrong with that, bro. Like you're a black man.
Wearing blackface.
You're a black man.
What you doing, bro?
Like you tripping. You were really slipping. So I wanted to say that publicly that I think that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is trash for wearing that sweater. It's the same thing as if Kanye was putting on a Make America Great Again hat. It's the same thing, bro. Because you saw what it was, and you saw the reaction that it was getting from your people, from the people who look just like you, and the people who go through the same trials and tribulations as you can. Because you can lose that money, Floyd, and you go back to being another black man in America. Excuse me.
Hey, he was finna snap off on you, Floyd, man. You gotta be careful.
So you need to realize that there are plenty of boxers, no matter how much business you do, no matter how many, that you can lose all your money like a lot of famous black boxers have in this lifetime. And you can go back to being just like us. And you can go back to being treated just like us. So you need to be aware of that. You need to understand that your voice carries power. And you need to be careful what you do because this ain't it, dog. This really ain't it. And I need the people in Floyd's team to start checking him on stuff like this. Just because he signed your check does not mean that this man is God. You need to start telling him that when he's doing things is trash, and you need to tell him why these things are trash. So when people look at y'all when y'all go out, they can't see like, bro, really? These are the people that hang with him? Y'all didn't see nothing was wrong with that? Y'all just let this man put the sweater on? Just because he make the money don't mean that he makes all the decisions. Come on now, if y'all really with this man that y'all got to sit here and tell him, bro, Floyd, that ain't the way.
It kind of goes back to our first episode when we were talking about Robert Kelly, and you were referring to all the people who were standing around.
Yeah, like his manager, his dad, like all these people. All of y'all are just as much to blame as him.
Y'all, we have to stop doing that. If you see something is wrong, do something. We have to stop doing that. I keep seeing so many times people in trouble shouting to the rooftops they need help. And people just not listening. Stop doing that, please. It's 2019. I'm sorry, I'm finna get off on a little tangent because it's kind of something that's been on my heart. But I'm gonna get Christian with y'all real quick. God calls us to love our brothers and our sisters, our neighbors. How are you loving your brothers and your sisters when you see them going through something and you just stand there and do nothing?
It's simple, because they see they love themselves and then they stop there. They don't let it continue.
You know what I'm saying? And we touched on that, but at the same time, I feel like also it's a comfort thing, because once you rock the boat with those people, especially those are the people that are signing your checks, you're like, no, I gotta keep this man happy so I can get paid.
Exactly.
Not to try to help that person. That's what you say. We're thinking selfishly. It's like, all right, I need to get paid, so I can't tell him that this is messed up, because if I tell him this is messed up, he gonna fire me and I can't pay my bills. That's not the move. So no, we have to go beyond it. And I feel like that's the problem for a lot of us. I feel like that's why we don't have as much progress today as there should be, because a lot of us are worried about ourselves, not necessarily the greater good of our people. Because if you look at the civil rights movement back in the 50s and the 60s, everybody was getting locked up. Everybody was excited to get locked up. Everybody was excited to put their life at risk, because they knew that by doing so, they were creating change for the greater good of their people. So they didn't care that they had to go to jail. They didn't care that white people was beating on them. They didn't care that their reputation to a certain degree was being put through the murder. Was being run through the mud, excuse me. So we need to have that same energy, people. No. I'm looking towards my black people. We need to have that same energy. We need to be okay with being uncomfortable, because we've been uncomfortable if we're gonna keep it real.
Oh yeah.
I go to a PWI. So when I walk around campus, especially at night, and it's pretty secluded, I'm not afraid. So let me say that now. I'm never afraid, but I always have in the back of my mind where I am, who I am, and how these people can perceive me and what can be done about that. So, not to say that we should live in fear, but at the same time we need to recognize that. So what I'm saying is basically we need to learn how to be uncomfortable with people, because that's the only way that we can really do things. We need to stop worrying about what'll happen to me and start worrying about what happens to we.
Exactly.
Because if they do it to you, they'll do it to me.
You know, you said that we're getting Christian with it. Notice how back then too, it wasn't just that they loved the community, but the part of the reason why that was successful is look who they put in front. What point is having the movement if we ain't putting God in front of it?
Very true.
If we say that for our own personal lives, is that the real way to move forward and start growing spiritually is putting God first? Why do we not put that same energy in our community? The community needs to get on board with that, in my opinion.
Well, no, because the community has lost God.
Exactly.
Most communities have lost God.
If we try and do a movement without Him, we essentially are doing a godless movement.
I'll put it to you like this: back in the day, where did the black community run to when something went down?
To church.
Exactly.
To church.
Not a lot of people go to the churches nowadays.
We go to Twitter.
Which
Stop doing that.
Probably explains a lot of the stuff that goes on right now. But that's a separate conversation for another day. I just want y'all don't talk a lot. It's my turn to talk.
Go ahead, Will.
But
see how we do it, y'all.
I'm weak. But no, I'm not gonna say anything different from what y'all two said. But what I will say in terms of the whole blackface thing, I'm gonna be real. When I see stuff like that, I offer it, do not care, because I know my people's response to that is going to be
buy it again.
Yeah, we just gonna buy Gucci again. We don't care. It's Gucci, man. I'm trying to wear Gucci. I'm trying to flex on everybody, and that's when I first see stuff about Gucci doing blackface, I just don't care, because I know my people are gonna turn right back around
and buy Gucci,
just like you were saying with Floyd Mayweather. That man didn't care that Gucci came out with that racist sweater. He went back to the Gucci store, bought him some Gucci, bought his team Gucci, mind you. just to rub it in people's faces a little more that he was still gonna do what he wanted to do.
And anybody from the money team who wore that, you trash too, bro, because you know that's trash. Just because your boss is wearing it don't mean you gotta wear that, bro. On me.
So it drives me crazy when I see situations like this, and then black people's response is just we angry for like 2 days and then we just keep it moving. Like nothing happened. We have to stop doing that, y'all, because let me tell y'all something. I got this quote yesterday while we were on Day on the Hill. When we fight as a people, we win. Period. We might take L's along the way, but the end result, which is what people lose sight of nowadays, we gonna win. Period. Yeah. But we have to remember to keep fighting. When you feel like you're gonna give up,
no, don't stop.
One more step. Take one more step. And after that step failed, take another step. Just keep taking steps. But I promise you, the end result, we gonna win. Because it's like I also said, it's 2019. Ain't no reason why people don't understand why blackface is a problem. It's 2019.
Hold on. I think what that is, I feel like it's weird. They say they don't, but it goes back to what I was saying. They know, but I feel like it takes us showing them what it does. Mm-hmm. I feel like here's an example, and I feel like this is a little weird. So, let's say instead of blackface, let's say the three of us got together.
You wore whiteface?
Oh yeah, we wore whiteface. We got the long Jewish nose and everything. We wore yarmulkes and we started wearing the David Star. I guarantee you, there's gonna be a problem with that in white America. They're gonna show us why this is so wrong and why it's wrong to do this to Jewish people, and Jewish people have such a rich history here in America and this or that. But y'all do that to us. What not to say not my Hebrew brothers. I'm not throwing shade at y'all. I'm just using y'all as an example, because if I'm gonna keep it 100, we have discrimination against Middle Eastern people. We have discrimination against now Mexican people. But if I'm gonna keep it 100, I feel like the Jewish community behind black people are the most oppressed. If you look out through the entire span of history, because I feel like the only other people to be slaves other than black people were Jewish people. You know what I'm saying? And if you're one of those conspiracy theorists, there's some type of correlation between black people and Jewish people being true Hebrews of the Bible and all of that. So I'm not gonna get into that. So what I'm saying is, if we took that same energy that they bring to us and we brought that toward the Jewish community, then I guess they see what we were talking about. I think then they'll really understand. But at the same time, I feel like that may not even work, because it goes back to what I was telling you about the whole why Trump isn't being, chastised. Because white people are already in power. They're not gonna care. Oh, look at them. Yeah, they're calling us that now. Oh, whatever. Let me go fill out my W-2 and get like 7 figures back in my return in April. You know what I'm saying? Like they do stuff like that.
Yeah, because I feel like when it comes to certain designers nowadays, because it's crazy. Because I literally saw another story like yesterday about another. Now I don't remember the designer, but apparently they had some kind of fashion show, and one of the pieces of clothing that they put, that one of the models were wearing, it was like a poncho, and the poncho had like a little noose hanging down from it. And I'm really just sitting here like, okay, if y'all don't realize that these designers ain't playing with us by now, then y'all just stupid. Like, these designers keep putting out this crap to draw us back in to keep buying their stuff. Mm-hmm. And y'all keep falling for it. Why? Y'all get pissy and then y'all go back and buy it. Surface. Why?
But here's my thing. Here's the thing that we need to worry about. Yes, its surface level is crap, and that's what I don't like about it. But at the same time, we need to realize this. Black people are 13.3% of this U.S. population. But we have the most spending power out of anybody. That includes the white people with the money. Because y'all know white people don't buy stuff. They invest and they save. They don't buy. Mm-hmm. There's a difference in buying and investing. Trust me. That's why they stay on top. So, when you look at that, you know what I'm saying? It's not really surprising, like you said, oh, they're going to go back and buy more Gucci. They don't realize the kind of power that they have. Bro, if we really boycotted the products and the companies and the services that don't care about us, I guarantee you, these folks are gonna go bankrupt. If all the rappers and actors and all of these black people with the superstars, if they stop wearing Gucci today, Gucci goes out of business in a year, maybe 2.
See, what this is making me all this is making me think of is that it's to the point now. It's like we can't move forward because we're focused on the wrong things, but we live in a society where we have to put on 2 faces.
Ah, the two-faced speech. I love that.
So, my question, I kind of know where I'm at with this, but I want to ask y'all, how does someone do that? How does someone, quote unquote, manage their individual blackness? And by manage their blackness, I mean, how does someone go about literally being black or a black advocate or internally? How does one be black in terms of living the daily life involving with police or even buying stuff, boycotting things or speaking up when something's wrong? How does someone do that?
I like how you segued into that last topic because, managing our blackness is our last topic of the night. So I love how you segued into that. That was beautiful.
Well, no, it ain't our last topic.
That was our last topic.
No, we still got to talk about Sir Jussie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So,
man, they almost forgot. We had a hot one to end tonight, y'all.
so that's trash. Okay.
So the next topic then.
So on our next topic, basically, is managing blackness. And I think what deals in managing our blackness is, first, it is situational. Because how I act around y'all is not how I act in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because I feel inferior in the classroom. By the way, we go to PWI, so in most of our classes, we're the only black kids in them. There might be maybe 2 or 3 black kids per class, and that's every single class, every day. So I don't feel inferior. I say what I have to say, because like I said before, I can't hide the fact that I'm a black man. Like, I just can't. I can't do it in how I talk, how I walk, what I do, how I do it. It's black. Can't change it. Really don't want to change it. So, me knowing that, me being conscious of that, I walk into a room knowing that there are people looking at me already because I'm black. No matter how many white people are in that room or not, people are looking at me because I'm black. So, I notice that, but I don't necessarily let it demean or limit how I move.
Yeah.
If my boss says something dumb, I could easily be like, bruh, that was the most retarded, ignorant foolishness. Yes, ignorant foolishness I've ever heard in my life. Or I could say, boss, I don't really think that correlates to what we're doing on the assignment today. So, and here's why, too. Because white people love for you to chew them out, and because they make it seem like you're the angry black man. But when you give them logical reasons why you spazzing out, they really can't argue with logic. I mean, they can't argue with logic. They just sound stupid. But I think that it's situational.
It's situational.
It's completely situational because, what I'm saying, I could have a conversation just like this with y'all, you know what I'm saying, and right here, but let's say maybe the president walks in, I may, I'm not gonna change the topic of what we're talking about. I may use different words. My phrases may be different. My tone of voice may be different, because the last thing I want to do is put a white man at alarm. I want to ease him as much as possible, because when we see that when white people are jumpy, bad things happen to us. So I think that's my mindset when I deal with managing my blackness. I don't care how white people feel, but I'm aware that when they feel the way that they feel, bad things happen to people who look like me.
Yeah.
So to not even go down that road, to not even have to deal with that, I carry myself the same way, but I tweak it in a certain sense so that way that they're not on edge. Because if you put one white person on edge, that puts another, and then another, and then another, and the next thing you know, you have the entire classroom of white people looking at your one black self.
Yeah. And see, it's sad too, because I've seen that not necessarily just extend from just white people. It's now to the point where, even our Hispanic brothers and sisters or our Islamic brothers and sisters, they look at us in a certain light because of how our society portrays us. I had a friend back in middle school. I just had allergies. My allergies get real bad sometimes. My eyes were bloodshot. And we were having this parent, it wasn't a parent-teacher conference, but it was like a parent-student talk with a couple of teachers about, like, hey, here's what we do in this class or whatever. So But a good friend of mine, he's Kurdish. But the next day, he came back, like, hey, we can't be friends anymore, and he meant it. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, my dad says that you do drugs, so we can't be friends anymore. Wait. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, he said he saw your eyes were red. I had allergies. It wasn't anything different.
Yeah.
My eyes were watery.
Right. It's like, bro, your dad assuming.
He's assuming. But see, he wasn't white, though, is the thing.
Yeah.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Racism happens to black people everywhere, and I think that people need to recognize that, because I feel like people have this perception of, oh, when I leave the U.S., oh, I don't have to worry about being oppressed.
Oh no, that's killed. No, that's killed.
That's a lie.
It's a universal thing.
That's a whole lie, and it's not even just with black people. If you look at Asian cultures, the darker your skin is in Asia, like the more you're persecuted against, and that's real. And it goes the same way over in the Middle East, in India, and especially in Africa. Like, it happens everywhere, and that's because it all goes back to the discrimination that the black man faces. So I feel like people need to stop saying that, oh man, I just need to get about the country and everything will be better. Now, in a lot of instances, it will be. You won't be called the N-word.
But it's still gonna be discrimination.
You know, there's still gonna be discrimination. There are other words to discriminate against us with that we don't even use over here.
I've always told people, when it comes to racism, I much rather prefer someone to just flat out call me the N-word than to do them little microaggressions that people do. Because when people do them little microaggressions, bruh, they do the microaggressions and then they can easily turn around and say, oh, I didn't mean anything by it.
Clearly you did.
But I'm looking at you, I'm like, a part of me feels like you knew exactly what you were finna do, and the reason you're switching up right now is because I peeped it and I was finna say something to you about it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I feel like when people say they want to go, they want to lead a country so not to deal with racism anymore. Back to what Sheikh is saying, racism is universal. It exists everywhere. It exists in America. It can exist in Europe. It exists in Australia. It's a universal thing. But the difference is how the racism is presented to you. Now, in America, you might flat out just get called the N-word. And you might deal with some little microaggressions here and there. But probably anywhere else, majority of the time you probably gotta deal with them little microaggressions. And you gotta figure out how you gonna deal with it. Because with me personally, it's very hard for me to manage my blackness because I typically wear my opinions like on my sleeve.
Yeah.
And I don't typically stray away from it unless I do my own research and I've came to a new conclusion. I'm like, okay, what I was saying back then is completely wrong from what I just researched. So, self-accountability. So for me personally, the type of person I am, it's very hard for me in a situation to kind of like tone down my blackness, especially when I feel like they're saying something like completely fallacious, like false.
Yeah.
Oh, you saying something wrong about black people? Bro, I need to correct you because I feel kind of offended because I'm a black man. So I need to correct you on how stuff really goes down. But, but when it comes to them situations like that where you have to deal with white people, for me personally, I feel like, okay, so let me change that up. I do agree, like when it comes to y'all, like I might talk differently. But for me personally, I feel like that's more of a sense because like I'm comfortable and I've known y'all for a long time, so I know I can, I know when I talk to y'all know how to take it. But for me personally, when I go out in society and I'm just having a conversation with somebody that I do not know, the conversation more than likely is going to go along the same lines as if it was a black person that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. It's going to be like, hey, how you doing? What's your name? My name Wolfgang. What's your? Okay, you told me your name. Talk, bop. And that's kind of how I see managing your blackness. Now, when it comes to situations where like it's a cop, I ain't even gonna cap. I'm kind of sitting there like, ooh, I'm trying to make it home tonight.
That's really what it is.
So I'm
I'm
kind of gonna watch what I say around policemen. But as for somebody else, like honestly, I'm gonna carry a conversation with you the same way I carry a conversation with somebody else.
Yeah.
But
But that's what I'm saying.
if we speak in terms of like cops, oh yeah, I'm most definitely gonna switch up like how I speak to them, because like I said, I'm trying to make it home tonight.
And see, that's really a shame when you think about it, is that we have to, I think you might have phrased it the best, tweak it to fit whoever it is that we're talking to.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, because that's what I mean when I say things like, okay, I don't want to put white people on edge. You know what I'm saying? Especially the cops.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't limit it just to the police, because as we've seen, it's not just the police who cause us, you know what I'm saying, grief. It's those people who even call the police on us that we have to be like, you know what I'm saying, conscious of. Granted, if I'm at the park and I'm with my family, I'm not going to stop playing my black music. I'm not going to stop doing my black dances. I'm not going to stop having my good old black time. It's just not going to happen. So in that instance, me managing my blackness is not a real thing. But at the same time, it's something that we should be cognizant about, because while managing our blackness wouldn't have prevented that woman from calling the cops on those people at the park, it might prevent, you know what I'm saying, a different white person in a different setting from, you know what I'm saying, being so standoffish, or from clenching onto their purse if you see them in a tight space with black people. You know what I'm saying? So I try to
Ease it,
you know what I'm saying? Not alarm, but what's the opposite of alarm? Disarm. Yes, I try to disarm white people when I'm around them, because if I feel that I have disarmed them in their perception of me, I will more than likely have a easier go at whatever it is or wherever it is I am.
right?
I feel that.
I know with me, it's very simple, like what y'all said. When I'm around y'all, I'm at, like you said, I'm at ease. But when I'm out in public, it's always in the back of my hand that I have to, it's a constant reminder that, all right, I have to watch how I carry myself. Because me acting a certain way in public, if the wrong person sees it, they can change a perception for a lot more people. For instance, like if we're on campus, we had a POW, but if I worked in, say, the College of Engineering, I used to, and that was one of the concerns there, is that I'm working with a lot of white people in high places on this campus. If I say a certain phrase, or if I don't carry myself, not necessarily just in a professional setting, but I carry myself in a way contrary to what they think I should believe, or think I should behave as, that now puts a bad perception not just on me because of something they saw, but it puts a bad perception on the person that I work for and the staff that I work with. And it could just be something small in mind, like maybe they overheard me on the phone and say I'm talking to one of y'all, right? And I'm, casual conversation, they may hear something like, oh, well, I'm already said this on the phone. It's like, what does that have to do with our business right now? But
those are facts. Because I said the N-word around people, especially around white people. Sometimes I even say it to make them feel uncomfortable, just to see what they'll do. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's my own little fun experiment that I like to do with people watching. I love it. I love it because they make us uncomfortable, so I like to try to make them uncomfortable to a certain degree. It's kind of fun for me. Yeah, it's a little messed up. I will admit that, but such is life. So, but it's just real. So I get that what you're saying. So, in a professional setting, because I see all of the professors, and I had a friend of mine before she graduated. She's like, you shouldn't say these things out loud because there are people watching you. And it's like, yeah, I should be aware of that, but at the same time, it's kind of like,
have to.
You know what I'm saying? And that was how I felt. So I was like, man, nah. If Whitey over here is uncomfortable with me saying the N-word, then that's on him. Because one, I feel like he's just mad because he can't say it. Well, I mean, he can say it, but he just can't say it in front of me and get away with it. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So I feel like if they don't have to watch themselves to a certain degree, then why should I? But at the same time, I feel like they do. because you know what I'm saying. Especially like, let's say we had a rap concert, and you already know where I'm going with this.
Oh yes, go
Now,
ahead.
you know what I'm saying? At most rap shows today, I don't care who you going to go see. I don't care if you're going to go see 21 or you going to go see Macklemore. The majority of those people sitting in that crowd are white, singing along to black music.
Every word.
Full of N-words. Now, me personally, if I go to a show, which I have before, and I'm singing a song, and it's got N-word in it, and I'm in a sea of white people, I look around. I make it real uncomfortable for everybody. Because you just made me uncomfortable that I heard three white people say the N-word. So I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna make it uncomfortable for all of us. Me. So, what's up with that word, bro? Oh, my bad, bro. I was like, hey, look, so what I'm gonna need you to do, I'm gonna need you to move away from me, because if I hear it again, we got problems. So I make people uncomfortable that way.
Yeah.
And I make them uncomfortable when I say it outside of that setting, because there's no music playing.
Yeah.
He's not reciting a movie. Why is he using the N-word? Oh my God, he said it again. Oh God, he said, oh my God, can you say that many in one day? God, I only allow myself like 4 or 5 a year. Can he use that many in a day?
Not 4 or 5 a year.
You know,
see, that raises an interesting point though, because this really speaks to a lot of the stuff that we go through just day to day, just as not necessarily just as black people, but as black men. So, what happens when someone comes and undermines that struggle from our own race?
Me. No. Because I understand it, because we have people like that. We have people who's like, oh, well, I didn't grow up like that, so I don't think it's like that. That is you. You were blessed to not have to deal with the BS of being black in America. You do, but you weren't given that full spectrum. You were sheltered, so you didn't really see what that looked like. You know what I'm saying? And that's good for you. I'm glad that your parents were able to give you a better life than a lot of other black kids have in this country. I'm glad for that. But at the same time, you shouldn't use that as a reason.
Platform.
You know what I'm saying? As your platform, no, because that's trash.
Does that apply to Jussie though? Does that apply to Jussie?
Y'all
Talk about Jussie Smollett, y'all.
Yeah, educate me on what Jussie did, because I heard it was some BS, but I wasn't sure. So I need y'all to fill me in on that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Wolf. Go ahead.
I guess I'm the
You got something. I know you got something you want to say on this.
Yeah, actually, this is a topic where I'm finna go off. So, in case for the viewers that do not know, Jussie Smollett, the actor that plays on the TV show Empire. I'm gonna be real, I haven't seen Empire since like the first season.
It's been a minute.
I ain't seen it since I've been in college.
Really?
But
bro,
a situation happened where he was pretty much attacked in Chicago. And when the report first came out, the report was that he was involved in a homophobic racial attack. Whoever attacked him put a rope around his neck, said, this a MAGA country, go back to where you came from, said a whole bunch of other homophobic slurs. I'm not really positive on that. But when the story first broke out, honestly, I honestly didn't know how to feel. Now, I say that, so I'm saying that out loud, so people that are watching, let's tone it down a little bit, because I know some of y'all like to get hopped up about stuff like this. So bring it down a little bit, I'm going to explain my reasoning. Now, I don't know how to feel about the Jussie Smollett situation right now, because while I do, as a black man, I feel for Jussie, and a part of me believes that he is telling the truth. But on the other hand, man, you have the cops, you got these two suspects, and you have everybody else saying different things. Now, okay, well, let me subtract everybody else. I'm mainly talking about the police and the two suspects. Okay, I'm mainly talking about the two suspects. The police, in this sense, okay, this is Chicago PD. I'm gonna be real with y'all. It's very hard for me to believe what a cop says. As a black person, you can probably understand where I'm coming from on that. But if you're a white person, I will take the time to explain to you. The cops they are known to lie on black people when they are in the wrong, when the cops are in the wrong for a situation. So when the cops typically come out and say something along those lines, I have a hard time believing cops, because y'all have been shown to lie on black people before just to simply put them in jail or just to take them down. The number one law enforcement agency, the FBI, has lied before just to take down our most notable black leaders. And you really think little Chicago PD ain't finna lie on black folks? Oh man,
bro, lying on black people is a part of police training.
Like, you stupid. But as far as like the Jussie Smollett case, I'm really in the center right now because I'm really waiting on more evidence to be presented.
So
that's where they're at right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a whole controversy about whether or not he lied about the whole
yes,
basically.
So basically, the police picked up 2 of the supposed suspects that were involved in his attack, and those 2 suspects said that Jussie actually paid them to stage the attack.
And see, Jussie denies this. Wait, Chase, come back. Chase, come back. All right. So
we walk up on set nowadays.
I guess so.
But yes, Chase, that is what the 2 suspects said. Now, what I found interesting about the 2 suspects is that now, based on the initial police report, he was beaten and racial and homophobic slurs were said to him. Now,
the news said bleach.
And he got poured bleach on him, and I believe like there was a noose around his neck. Now, no cap, if I hear a story like that first, I'm gonna think some white people did it. Sorry, y'all, whoever watched the show, but listen, if I'm not honest with y'all, then ain't no point of us doing this podcast. So I'm being honest with y'all and putting it out there. When I saw the initial attack about the Jussie Smollett thing, I initially thought, oh, he got hemmed up by some racist white folks.
Wearing MAGA hats.
Wearing MAGA hats. But then,
in his defense, though, I mean, white people, if you're feeling offended, for those of you watching at home, in his defense, I mean, when are black people really known for a lot of hate crimes against other black people? I mean, granted, we have a lot of black on black crime, and I know that's a lot of people's argument, but you have to really look at it. That don't really sound like a lot of black people stuff. Right now.
It
ain't black.
It doesn't to me, especially given our history behind some of the things that were done. White people poured bleach in swimming pools to keep us from swimming in public swimming pools. That's why a lot of the times you hear black people can't swim, because white people didn't want us in their pools, and they use bleach to make sure we got about their pools. When it comes to the nooses, bro, we already know with the lynchings and stuff like that. Ain't no reason to explain that. So when I first saw the report, no lie, I thought some white people had attacked them. But then I turned around, the police done found these 2 suspects, and these folks darker than me.
Yeah.
2 Nigerian dudes.
Yeah.
They darker than me. I'm sitting here like, whoa.
Oh.
Now hold on.
What's this?
Are they actually African, or are they like just dark as crap?
I believe they are Nigerian.
Okay, and the reason I bring that up for y'all.
Now, if I'm wrong on that, I am wrong, and I sincerely apologize to all the Nigerians watching this podcast, or whoever feels offended about the fact that I said 2 Nigerians. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
You know, and this goes for, you know, siding with Jussie. If these are real attackers, then I would say that them being Nigerian wouldn't be that much of a surprise. And I say that because not only Nigerians, but other cultures around the world still deem things like homosexuality and things of that nature to be taboo in a certain sense. So I would say that while I don't think that that's the case, I wouldn't necessarily just throw it off by the side and say, no, that's not real. So I get where the confusion could be from that, but I also do see why it could be a real possible thing.
Yeah, because I would, you know, kind of like what I was saying earlier, I'm still, until all the facts come out about this case, I'm going to remain in a neutral Switzerland, and like I'm not going to take a side. But what I will say, if he's right, then he's right. And it needs to be addressed. You know, as a matter of fact, homophobia, racism, that stuff needs to get addressed anyway, regardless if he's lying. But I will say, if he is lying, that is That is the most unnecessary. First episode, we talked about the whole R. Kelly thing, and we talked about how people's comments were kind of like they didn't believe him. They said the girls were lying. They were like, "Oh, if I didn't do it, then if I wouldn't do it, then that means he ain't doing to her." So when I take this Jussie Smollett situation, I'm like, okay, so if man's lied, then he's literally giving the quote unquote wrong side an excuse now, because let's say this side brings up, oh, we need to address homophobia, racism, and stuff like that. Well, the other side can now say that, oh, y'all just making that stuff up.
Look at Jussie.
And it makes it especially bad because
the president, dude.
Donald Trump commented on it. 45. Donald Trump. Turn my head around so y'all can see my face and see how serious I am when I say this. Donald Trump made a comment condemning the attacks. Yes, he condemned the attacks. I know a lot of us we would condemn condemn the attacks. No, well, like I wouldn't say that, but I would say that we kind of expect Donald Trump to not make a comment on a situation like that.
Yeah.
But he did make a comment on it and he condemned the attack.
But now because
so now with the possibility of Jussie lying about it, if it comes to find out that Jussie did lie about it, bruh.
Twitter.
Y'all already think dude talk too much. If Jussie lied,
he finna have something brand new to say.
That man finna talk.
And Jussie, I'ma just let you know right now, bruh, I really hope that, well, you know what I'm saying, that what you went through wasn't just for nothing. I really hope that what happened to you was real, and I hope that we all can take that and learn from that. But I'm gonna be real with you, bro. If you made all of this up, and if you did, I have no care in the world. I will disown you.
I think we can all say if you made this up,
and the whole Empire cast away. The whole cast will be thrown away.
I mean, if you want me to be real,
except Taraji. If you
want me to be real, if it comes out that he lied about this, the whole show might get canceled.
Their ratings are finna fall.
Fox.
That's what's finna happen. Their ratings will fall.
Of course they will get canceled. It's Fox.
Now, Jussie does have some like third, installment to this whole series of events where he's like, oh yeah, we'll have a plan or whatever. It's like, okay, right. We'll keep an eye out for it, but right now,
your plan looks poorly executed, my guy. Hopefully this was real, bro. But like I said, if it's not, bro, I'm done with you. I'm done.
Yeah, because
we got real issues going on, bro, and we got people really out here getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I would hope that somebody in your position would do better. You know what I'm saying? Because you definitely know better. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like you don't. So hopefully, since you know better, you did better. We just, like you said, we'll have to wait for the facts to come out.
But I do know, like, the latest fact to come in, it came in today. The police are now viewing Jussie Smollett as a suspect in the investigation. So
his own beating. That's trash, bro. When people are looking at you to find out who beat you up, you trash. I'm sorry.
It is kind of bad, but he is a suspect now. So we just got to make sure we keep our eyes open for it. Make sure we and y'all know all the facts of the case. Sick of y'all going on Twitter and just talking. Get the facts and then go on Twitter and talk.
I feel like there should be a new rule for Black Twitter. Until we have all the facts, you can't.
Just don't say anything.
Just stay off Twitter.
Because a lot of y'all will go out on Twitter and say some out of pocket stuff, and then when turn around and it's not the case, y'all don't say nothing. Y'all silent. For example, there's gonna be a small point, and then we're gonna have to wrap it up. But when this whole thing went down, I saw a lot of articles blaming black men for what happened to Jussie. And now turn around and look at where we are now. And not nobody saying a thing. So that's what I mean. Make sure. I guess this is kind of like our lesson for this podcast. When it comes to a situation like this, y'all, make sure y'all have all the facts before y'all go off on the handle. Because if you just assume something happened and it didn't happen, then you look foolish at the end of the day.
And I'm not gonna
but not just that though. Another lesson I hope y'all got from this too is that we really need to start pulling back into our own community.
That too.
We can't just keep seeing things going wrong and then be mad about it for a day and call it quits. If we're gonna change, we need to move and change. but do it the right way, and that starts in our own homes.
Right.
If you see, if I saw Wolfgang or Chase doing something wrong, I'm not gonna let them keep doing wrong. I'm gonna check them. Be like, hey, you doing that? Ain't it?
Right.
But that needs to be across the board. We can't just stop at ourselves. If you love yourself, use that love for someone else too. So there's it's a great analogy. I love it, but it's like it's a love analogy, right? You have your source, right? That source being God being the source of love, and that love pours down to you. So that way you can do the second commandment, which is loving your neighbor as yourself. So
a lot of people stop at just themselves, and then they want to. Actually, it's crazy. Shout out to Dory Johnson. She kind of gave me this little tip on her Snap like last week. But a lot of people nowadays use that whole self-worth and self-loving thing as an excuse to be selfish and not pour into others. Quit doing that. It's okay to love yourself, y'all, but
it don't stop there.
It does not stop there. It's 2019, y'all. We have to start doing better by each other. Like, for real. No more. Like, I'm sick of walking around seeing people down in the dumps because they feel like nobody's there for them. If you see someone and they down in the dumps, man, talk to them. Pick them up. Like, give them some encouraging words, because I promise y'all that's what they looking for, because they're not. They want to take that one more step, but
they don't know how. And
they need someone there to encourage them to take the one step.
And that's not just for our own.
Goes for everybody.
For everyone.
This is everybody, because we're all a big family.
Yeah. Realize that race is a social construct. We all still human. So if you see your fellow man or brother, sister, down, pick them up. But that's our show for y'all today, guys.
That is all what we have for In The Rough podcast. We really appreciate all the viewers that tune in for it. We just want to thank all of y'all for watching the first episode. We got a lot of great feedback from it. So, of course, if we can improve on anything, or y'all would like to see something new, or you would love to be a guest on the show, holler at us. I'm pretty sure majority of people on Tennessee Tech's campus has me, Chase, and Omar's contact information. So if y'all have any advice to give us, or y'all have any ideas, or y'all just want to be on the show, or even ideas for topics, hit us up. We'll be more than welcome to listen to y'all. And of course, we want to thank y'all so much. We love y'all all for tuning in to episode 2 of In The Rough.
Side note, my cell phone hours end at 11:30 p.m. Central Time. So anything after 11:30 will not be answered by me.
We do have an In The Rough email, intheroughstudios@gmail.com. I know it's a Gmail, but it is what it is.
Bro, Google's easy. It's better than everything. What you mean?
Yeah. So next week we will be talking about.
Gotta wait till next time.